My name is Rishi Basu and welcome to another episode of Beneath the Batter by Blunt Tip News. On today's episode, we bring to you two news stories which haven't got enough media attention. Contrarily, they actually deserve it. The first story we have for you is the Indian football team's exclusion from the Asian Games, and the second story is a rather special one on mob lynching.
All the fans from Mumbai who came and watched us, thank you so much for all the encouragement. It means the world to us. But today I'm making this video not for you guys. I'm going to speak, appeal and request all of you who did not come. To everyone who is not a football fan, please come and watch us. But with our desire and determination, we'll try our best to make your time worth. To all of you who have lost hope or do not have any hope in Indian football, I request you, come and watch us in the stadiums.
What you just saw was a short snippet of an appeal video made by Indian football team captain Sunil Chhetri, which was posted on Twitter. Now, it did not take much time for this video to go viral, with celebrities coming out in full support of Indian football. While the entire nation considered that to be a turning point for Indian football, the Indian Olympic Association had other plans. They deemed both the men's and women's football team incompetent exactly a month after the video was posted. To add insult to the injury, they said that neither the men's nor the women's football team could win a medal. Of course, the All India Football Federation wasn't happy about this. They said that the IOA's decision was myopic. Allegedly, the IOA wasn't even interested in the development of Indian football. Furthermore, the AIFF said that they are willing to fund the transportation and accommodation of the players if the IOA was concerned about that. The irony of the situation is that the so-called supporters of the ISL, the Indian Super League, aren't even aware about this. It wouldn't be unfair to say that the ISL event is nothing more than just a publicity stunt for most of the owners. But wait, there's a bright side to this. The rumors, all of them are true. You can organize 3 ISLs a year, make 1,000 appeals, but the bureaucracy in Indian football will not let this sport realize its true potential. But the real victims here are the women. The men still have the leagues to bank upon and even the upcoming AFC Asian Cup. But what about the female involvement in this sport? Hardly anything has been done for that except for a few CSR campaigns. Now, this might not seem like a big deal, but trust me, it is. Maybe the economic growth of the country isn't affected by this, but what is the point of hosting World Cups if the host nation doesn't even care about their very own team? Now, everyone does not like football, and it's fine if you don't. But for those of you who stay up nights watching the UCL final, the least you can do for your own country is speak up, because this matters whether you want to believe it or not. The next story that we have for you is a special one on mob lynching. Now, lynching is considered to be one of the most brutal forms of vigilante justice, but they still get away with it. The reason behind that is simple: sympathy. Whenever a person feels that their faith or belief is being threatened, they resort to lynching. What's worse, they know that it doesn't even make sense. Whenever the law fails to protect their ideology, they take the law into their own hands. In February 2018, a tribal man was tied up and beaten by a group of people. He was accused of stealing food from nearby shops. Even though he was handed over to the police, he ended up succumbing to his wounds. In the month of June, 2 men traveling from Guwahati to Karbi Anglong were lynched by a mob. The mob suspected them of being child lifters. According to the police, the suspicion arose because the mob thought that those men looked different due to their long hair. Exactly a month later, 5 men were lynched by a group of 4,000 people in the Dhule district of Maharashtra. Just like the ones in Assam, the men looked like child lifters to the mob. According to Konrad Lorenz, a Nobel laureate in the field of ethology, lynchers think that they are heroic in nature. They experience what people call the holy shiver moments before they attack the victim. According to him, the present day civilized man suffers from an insufficient discharge of his aggressive drive, which means that whenever they feel threatened, they resort to lynching. That theory is enough to equate serial killers to mob lynchers. According to a study conducted by the Indian Express, the proximity of a police station made no difference to these lynchers. In fact, they didn't care at all. In fact, in majority of the cases, the police are present. So not only do they take the law into their own hands, they consider themselves above it. The study also showed that the victims and the lynchers were unknown to each other. This just goes to show the psychopathic traits of these lynchers. But don't take my word for it. Hear it from an expert.
Lynching is a premeditated extrajudicial killing by a group. It is most often used to characterize informal public executions by a mob in order to punish an alleged transgressor or to intimidate a group. It is an extreme form of informal group social control and often conducted with the display of a public spectacle for maximum intimidation. It is to be considered an act of terrorism and punishable by law. Instances of lynchings and similar mob violence can be found in every society. In India, lynchings generally reflect internal tensions between numerous ethnic communities in the country. Recent examples include the Kherlanji massacre, where 4 members of the Bhotmange family, who belonged to the Dalit caste, were slaughtered in Kherlanji, a small village in the Bhandara district of Maharashtra, by members of another caste group, the Kumbi. Though the incident was reported as an example of upper caste violence against lower caste, it was found to be an example of communal violence. It was retaliation against a family who had opposed the eminent domain seizure of its fields, so a road could be built that would have benefited the group who murdered them. The women of the family were paraded naked in public before being mutilated and murdered. Sociologists and social scientists reject attributing racial discrimination to the caste system and attributed this and similar events to intra-racial ethno-cultural conflicts. There have been numerous lynchings in relation to cow-vigilant violence in India since 2014, mainly involving Hindu mobs lynching Indian Muslims and Dalits. Some notable examples of such attacks include the 2015 Dalit mob lynching, the 2016 Jharkhand mob lynching, and the 2017 Alwar mob lynching. A very stark example of mob lynching can be cited in the 2015 Dimapur mob lynching case, where a mob in Dimapur, Nagaland, broke into a jail and lynched an accused rapist on 5th March 2015 while he was awaiting trial.
Now, people have been blaming the politicians for the rise in these cases, but that doesn't cut it. There's a reason why Gao Rakshaks are prevalent in our country, and it's not just political. These people thrive on the support of those who share the same ideology as them. Exactly, we are to be blamed. It might sound ridiculous to you, but tomorrow, if you see a convicted murderer being lynched by a mob on the streets, ask yourself this question: would you stop them? Obviously, you wouldn't, because you have a particular code of conduct, you have a particular set of principles. And this is exactly why the concept of lynching or vigilante justice is justifiable to some people. These set of principles or morals differ from one person to another. It's subjective. No matter what a person has done, people cannot consider themselves the executors of the law. If you think lynching is nationalistic in nature, you're wrong. It's extremist for sure, but not nationalistic, because the people who really love their motherland will not dare to disrespect it. On top of that, in a few years from now, lynching might just be the only thing that withholds India from achieving the superpower status. Thank you for bearing with us. My name is Rishi Basu, signing off on Beneath the Batter by Blunt Tip News. If you like this episode, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Also, keep an eye out for our Facebook, Twitter and YouTube page at Blunt Tip News. We'll be back next week with another exciting episode. Stay tuned with us.